Harihi Om. Ramo Rajamani Sada Vijayate. Ramam Ramesham Bhaje. Ramena Vihata Nishachara Chamuhu. Ramaya Tasmai Namaha. Ramannasti Parayanam Parataram. Ramasya Dasosmyaham. Ame Chittalaya Sada Bhavatu Me. Bho Rama Mam Uddhara. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Friends, today I am going to cover Sargas 40 and 41. These are very interesting Sargas because they showcase the valor and bravery of Sugriva and Angada. They also display the way a war unfolds in a situation like this. We have seen that Sri Rama was inspecting from the top of Subela mountain the palace and the surroundings of Ravana in Lanka. They were glowing like anything, like a pearl city. As Sri Rama, Sugriva and others were looking, they suddenly spotted Ravana on his terrace. It was one of the big towers that existed in his palace. He was being fanned by maidens on both sides. They held a white royal umbrella over his head. He wore splendid jewelry and was anointed with red sandal paste. He was of the complexion of a dark rain cloud. He wore a shining brocaded silk garment. He proudly sported the marks on his chest made once by Airavata's tusks. The tusks had goaded him, and those marks he displayed prominently on his chest. It was already early morning. As Sri Rama and Sugriva were looking at Ravana, suddenly the Vanara king sprang up. Krodha vegena samyuktaha satvena cha balena cha achalagradayotthaya papluve gopurasthale. Overcome by anger and brimming with confidence and power, Sugriva suddenly leapt from the mountain top of Suvela directly onto Ravana's terrace. He paused for a while, taking in Ravana's appearance and who was around him. He had landed very close to Ravana. Then Sugriva spoke. Lokanathasya Ramasya Sakha Dasosmi Rakshasa Namaya Mokshyase Tvam Parthivendrasya Tejasa. By the grace and the glory of Sri Rama, as his friend and Dasa, O Ravana, I have come here to destroy you. You cannot escape me today. Saying this, Sugriva leapt up, dislodged Ravana's crown. He just hit it and knocked it off and felled him to the ground. He pulled him to the ground. Ravana shouted, Look, your epithet Sugriva, meaning beautiful neck, will be no longer true. I will destroy your neck. Saying this, Ravana picked up Sugriva and threw him to the ground. Sugriva sprang up like a football. The exact word Valmiki uses is Kanduvat, and in turn picked up Ravana and flung him to the ground with great force. Soon they were wrestling fiercely, with sweat and blood running down their bodies. When they clasped each other tight, neither could move an inch. Their terrific combat with fists, open palms, elbows, and sharp nails were so fierce that no normal man would survive those blows. They were moving around on the white terrace with great speed and were getting the upper hand by turn over each other. Turn by turn, it was relentless. They soon fell off the terrace but recovered quickly to resume. They displayed immaculate wrestling skills in a system that is even today called Indian style of wrestling in the Olympics, and would hold each other in crushing vice grips. They appeared tireless. They moved around in different patterns, and they displayed the strength and force of tusker elephants. They schemed at attack to floor the opponent. Sometimes they growled at each other like fighting cats. Valmiki also uses technical terms to describe the ancient methods of wrestling, including the way one moves around the opponent and what tricks he can employ to attack and to escape. I am sorry, I am not knowledgeable enough to translate those terms. Ravana decided this was enough. He had to employ his Rakshasa magical powers. It is called Mayavi Shakti. Ravana was soon going to multiply himself, so Sugriva would not know who is the real Ravana and who is the fake Ravana. The moment Ravana was thinking like this, Sugriva realized what was going to happen. He suddenly leapt high into the sky. Sugriva was not tired or losing ground, we must know this. He merely thought he had accomplished his purpose of scaring Ravana. He had sufficiently tormented Ravana. Satisfied, he leapt back to the Subela peak as fast as he had come here and joined Sri Rama. Sugriva had a triumphant feeling as he was received with shouts of victory by the Vanaras. Sri Rama calmly gave a good embrace to Sugriva on his return and spoke. Sugrivam samparishvajya Ramo vachanam abravit atham mantriya maya sardham tadidam sahasam kritam evam sahasa yuktani na kurvanti janeshwaraha. Oh, my dear Sugriva, your impetuous attack without consulting me and without discussing with me the merits of such a sudden attack by you individually on Ravana, you should not have done it. This is not the way a king should conduct himself. He was implying that going alone right into the den of Ravana, unprepared, with no weapons, could jeopardize Sugriva's life. Sri Rama said that if at all Sugriva had not returned alive, the whole attack on Lanka would have become a futile exercise, a failure. Sri Rama would then have still destroyed Ravana and his folk and established Vibhishana as the king, as was his promise and goal. He would then have handed over Ayodhya to Bharata and would have given up his own life. Sri Rama said neither Sita nor his brothers mattered to him any more than his dear trusted friend Sugriva. Sugriva had only one reply. Tava bharyapaharattaram drishtva katham marshayami. How could I not react on seeing Ravana? First time I set my eyes on him, I remembered how he has abducted your wife. I had to take revenge. Sri Rama had only an affectionate nod in response. Sri Rama then said the time had come to prepare for attack. He noticed many omens signifying the imminent bloodshed. He pointed several omens to Lakshmana. I will quote one. Kakaha shenastatha gridraha nichaihi paripatanti cha shivashva yashubha vachaha pravadanti mahasvanaha. Crows, eagles and vultures are all flying low, relishing the prospect of a feast on dead bodies. The wild foxes are also making inauspicious sounds. Lakshmana. Pramadya duradharsham purim ravana palitam abhiyama javenaiva sarvato haribhir vrutaha. We are now going to attack Lanka quickly, rapidly, with all our full forces. Let us, with our immense army, surround the impregnable Lanka. Sri Rama then gave detailed instructions and the Vanara commanders to take their different positions at the eastern, western, southern and northern gates, as well as prepare themselves to attack directly right into Lanka's center. Sri Rama and Lakshmana led the attack at the northern gate, where Ravana would himself come to war. Valmiki says that the uncountably large army of formidable Vanaras that you saw everywhere ready to strike could only be compared with an attack by an immense army of locusts. Sri Rama then conferred with the sagacious Vibhishana on the art of diplomacy. He decided to do something. He called Angada to his side. He asked him to go at once to Ravana with a message. Bruhi madvachana kape Langaitva Purim Lankam Maham Tyaktva Gatavyathaha. O Angada, take this message from me directly to Ravana in Lanka. Be fearless and resolute. Sri Rama's message was a stern warning that Ravana's time was up unless he immediately respectfully restored Sita to Sri Rama. Ravana could not escape death from his arrows, from Sri Rama's arrows, even if he fled away in the form of a bird to any corner of creation. He should finish his own last rites, as he and everyone else on his side would soon be exterminated. Angada took off like a shooting flame into the sky and descended right into the presence of Ravana while he was holding his council. Angada was resplendent in his princely attire. He spoke directly to Ravana, looking him straight in the eye. Dutoham Kosalendrasya Ramasya Aklishta Karmanaha Valiputro Nama Edite Shrotamagataha. Oh Ravana, perhaps you have heard about me. I am the son of the great Vali and I am the Duta of the Kosalendra, the king of Kosala, Rama, who is actually unconquerable and for whom no task is impossible. Oh Ravana, I have a message for you from Sri Rama. Listen to this. Nishpatya pratiyudhyasva nrishamsa purusho bhava. Come out and face me in battle like a brave man. Shatrumadhyodha harishyami tvam rishinam cha kantakam. I shall eliminate you, the menace to rishis and others too. Vibhishnasya Shaishwaryam Bhavishyati Hate Tvayi. When you die, the immense wealth will go to Vibhishana. Nachayet Satkritya Vaidehim Pranipatya Pradasyasi. Unless you come, bow down to me, apologize, and return Sita. Ravana heard these words and completely lost his cool. He shouted, "Catch this monkey and kill him!" Right away, four fierce Rakshasas came and caught hold of Angada. Two on each arm. Angada stood motionless, biding his time. Suddenly, Angada shot up onto the terrace. Just as those four Rakshasas were still hanging onto his arms, they all dropped him and hit the ground as he went up and landed on the terrace. Yuddha then started walking menacingly, stomping on the terrace. He was pressing his foot hard at every step on the terrace. Papalacha padakrantam pura himavata shrungam vajreneva vidaritam. That palatial terrace was shattered. It was breaking down under the force of Angada's heavy stomping of his feet, just as the Himalaya itself had once been cleaved by Indra's thunderbolt. Bhantva prasada shikaram nama vishravya chatmanaha vinadya sumahanadam utpapata vihayasa. Announcing his triumphant name and giving an earth-shattering roar, Angada destroyed the terrace and its turrets and rose high up into the sky. Angada landed near Sri Rama soon to the celebrations of all the Vanaras. Ravana was now even more uncontrollably angry, seeing that Angada had come, destroyed his terrace and its turrets in a few moments. Vinasham chatmanah pashyan nishvasa paramo bhavat. He breathes heavily, a big sigh of dismay. Sri Rama Jayam.